Okay, guys, it's time for AEW Dynamite results and Rampage predictions. Sorry about that. Yep. I'm very interesting. Anyway, AEW Dynamite came on the air in Baltimore, Maryland, in what was to be a pretty good matchup for All Elite Wrestling, a pretty good event anyway, I meant. The first matchup in which we saw was Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, Bandito, and Orange Cassidy against JAS's Daniel Garcia, Jake Hager, Matt Menard, and Angelo Parker. A pretty entertaining opener. Aside from the brawling as the main story, we didn't really get a whole lot of Adam Cole in this match, aside from the finish. But the post-match was really the motive tonight. Strong, meanwhile, looked good in his debut, getting a loud ovation during the hot tag. Within that, though, we saw Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, Bandito, and Orange Cassidy defeat JAS's Daniel Garcia, Jake Hager, Daddy Magic, and Cool Hand Ange. Renee Paquette was backstage with Jack Perry and Darby Allin to talk about the main event tag match. Perry said he and Darby Allin might not like each other, but they busted everything to get to this moment. Allin said he didn't care how they got there, but that they would get to their first main event. Backstage, security was escorting Adam Cole, with Jericho barking orders to get him out. Britt Baker showed up, slapped Jericho, knocking him down until she was taken away as well. The Blackpool Combat Club was in the back, where Danielson said he's better than any wrestler unless it's one of the men that stand by him. Danielson hopes that the piece of crap Wheeler Yuta, his words, not mine, is better than him someday, as BCC is bringing out the best potential wrestlers possible, unlike the Elite. Moxley said they were just blades searching for pieces of iron to sharpen each other, and that the Elite should thank them, as high level equals bigger devils. Moxley brings up his steel cage match next week and said their feud in 2019 might as well have been a decade ago, since this is a new Jon Moxley who will leave a mark on Kenny Omega. Then Saraya took on Willow Nightingale in a match where we thought Saraya would win, pretty much everyone unanimously, and we were all right. The numbers yet again helped out the Outcasts, but the post-match they finally got was coming to them. Hayter and Baker found backup, which was nice to see. With the backup was, of course, Hikaru Shida making her return. It looked like Hikaru Shida was going to side with the Outcasts, but then she sprayed
Saraya in the face with a kendo stick. Oh wait, no, with the no, she sprayed Saraya with the spray bottle. She was gonna hit. It looked like she was gonna hit somebody with the kendo stick, but that did not ever happen. The House of Black was in the back, saying the trio's titles were tainted, so they introduced the open house. Any 3 competitors can team up for a title shot, but under house rules. 20-second countouts, no rope breaks, and DQs will be enforced to keep a fair and square matches. Then Julia Hart welcomed us to the open house. I kind of like this idea. I think it's a good thing to do for the House of Black. Kind of gets them to showcase themselves a little more, in my opinion. I think this works really well. So now we just wait. And then the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn was a part of the Trace de Mayo Trios Royale. It was hard to know what exactly this Trace de Mayo Battle Royale was even supposed to be. But they also never officially announced what was going on. But the vignette from House of Black prior has to make us think that the whole thing was a build up to that. So with that in mind, there was the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn, who ultimately won the Trace de Mayo Battle Royale. The other teams involved included the Lucha Brothers and El Hijo del Vikingo, Kip Sabian, and the Butcher and the Blade, also known as The Change, the Varsity Athletes and Ari Daivari, QTV, the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn, and then the Dark Order. And this was fine. Nothing too crazy happened here, but we'll have to wait and see what this means with the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn winning the Battle Royale. Renee Paquette was backstage with Sammy Guevara, who didn't say anything before MJF interrupted. Guevara said he saw the footage last week and MJF bailed on him. MJF started fake crying, cited his bad back, and needed room. Then Guevara smooched him on the forehead and said he never should have doubted MJF. And then they try to go for a handshake, saying, "Friends don't shake hands, friends hug," and then they hug each other. Which I kind of liked that. So I liked this moment. I like what they've been doing with this entire thing. So we'll wait and see what happens here. Kenny Omega and Don Callis were also a part of this entire thing going up on. They were backstage talking about Jon Moxley's plan next week in the steel cage, and that Don Callis had the camera zoom in on his stitches, saying he has to look at that every day because of what Moxley did to him. Omega said Moxley might make them both bleed in the cage, but everything comes to an end in Detroit next week. Moxley made it personal for what he did to the Bucks, to Konosuke Takeshita, and Don Callis. The TNT champion Wardlow then defeated Logan LaRue, which no idea who that is. Then Wardlow called out Luchasaurus for an open challenge. Christian Cage came out, ran down the crowd, and said it wasn't happening in Baltimore. Then later on saying the title shot wasn't to be for Luchasaurus, but that it belongs to Cage himself. This caught Wardlow and Anderson a little by surprise, as Cage then went to the back. Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, Jeff Jarrett, and Satnam Singh made a visit to Mark Briscoe's house to help on the farm as a good sign of faith. Jarrett was about to serenade everyone with a rendition of With My Baby Tonight when Papa Briscoe walked up. Papa tried to talk some sense to Mark as Lethal and the crew were dancing with Mark's baby in the yard. Lethal and Jarrett issued a challenge to FTR for a tag team title shot at Double or Nothing. Asks Briscoe the strategy to beat them. Before Briscoe could answer, the video ended. And that was it. Juice Robinson then took on Ricky Starks. The road seems to be headed for Jay White and Starks at Double or Nothing, in what should be a great match, but we'll see. It might have taken Ricky a few more weeks than he thought it would, but Starks finally got his victory over Juice Robinson. This was a good match, too. Which will be interesting to see what happens next within Ricky Starks and the Bullet Club Gold. Then a history of the Firm and Matt Hardy and Private Party were shown ahead of the Firm's deletion match this week on Rampage. Darby Allin and Jack Perry were hyping each other up before the main event. As Darby Allin walked off, MJF entered the room. He told Perry if he betrays Darby Allin tonight, MJF will offer him a spot next to the throne since he's now world champion material. Perry said he doesn't want to be next to the throne, but that he wants the crown. Allin walked back in as MJF left. Allin then asked what that was all about. Perry then told him not to worry, tried a fist bump. Allin refused, not believing him. MJF successfully planted the seeds of doubt at the last possible moment. Ultimately, this led to the tag team match, which determined what the main event of Double or Nothing will be. Jack Perry and Darby Allin versus MJF and Sammy Guevara in a quote-unquote 4 pillars tag match. This was a pretty entertaining main event. The surprising part here was that Sammy Guevara betrayed Darby Allin. So, sorry. MJF's here tonight. That was so very surprising. But also, the MJF's plan blew up in his face big time here tonight, as the dislike and distrust of Allin and Perry did not cost him in this main event. And that ultimately led to a fatal 4-way for the World Championship. All the 4 pillars of All Elite Wrestling will take each other on at Double or Nothing, which is a sight to see for sure. Rampage predictions up next. Hey guys, now it's time for Rampage predictions. Mark Briscoe will take on Preston Vance, in which Mark Briscoe will most likely win. Jade Cargill, the TBS champion, will be in action, in which Jade Cargill will win.
Lucha's Bros and El Hijo del Vikingo will take on QTV, which Lucha Bros and El Hijo will probably win that. All I've got to say is it seems like El Hijo del Vikingo's on an excursion because he's been wrestling in the United States a lot lately. I don't know, but it's interesting. Then Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, Isaiah Cassidy, and Hook will take on Ethan Page, Big Bill, Lee Moriarty, and Stokely Hathaway in the Firm Deletion at the Hardy compound, in which this match, I see Matt, Jeff, Isaiah, and Hook winning this matchup. Interesting that they're doing this matchup in a cinematic match at the Hardy compound, but I'm all for Broken Matt Hardy coming back, at least for this matchup too. So we'll see what happens there. But there you guys go. This is TPW Talking Pro Wrestling, and I'll see you guys next time here. Good night, and thank you, everybody.